Hi guys, welcome to another episode of
Bamboozled.
Episode
4. Today we're talking about the media, which I like to call the most effective devil in America. And I think today's a good day for it because they have the Senate hearings going on with all the CEOs of Facebook and Twitter and Google testifying about their shenanigans the last few weeks. So I wanted you guys to understand that the media is controlled by just 6 companies. I don't know who knows it, but I've got a list of them. And 90% of the media is controlled by these guys, all right? So at the top is Comcast, net worth $148 billion. They own NBC, MSNBC, DreamWorks, Universal Pictures. Then Disney's number 2, ABC, ESPN, Marvel, Touchstone Pictures. Time Warner, number 3. They own Warner Brothers, HBO, AT&T, CNN, Time Magazine. News Corp, worth $56 billion. They own the New York Post, Fox News, Wall Street Journal. National Amusements owns CBS, MTV, Paramount, Nickelodeon, and Sony at the bottom, worth $34 billion, owns Columbia Pictures, TriStar Pictures, and Sony Music. So it used to be in 1983, 50 companies controlled the media. 50. By 1992, we were down to 25.
It's a big jump.
Huge jump. What is going on? Why is everything now controlled by the 2000s? 6. Okay? So when you guys hear things, I want you to think about this, that there is so little variety in who owns what you are hearing, okay? So this is 90%. And I'm talking internet, TV, radio, everything. 90% is right here. Of all these companies, the only one owned by a Republican is News Corp. Okay, Rupert Murdoch. So think Fox News. Okay, so, and when I say that, I'm not just speculating. Like, the CEOs of these other companies are either declared Democrats or they have been known to donate. On record, they have donations to Democrat candidates. Okay, so is there bias in the news?
Oh yes.
Big time. And notice the only Republican, Rupert Murdoch, News Corp, Fox News, what are they known for being? The conservative channel, right? And the CEO, a conservative, okay? And the rest, we know what the rest are. Don't even have to talk about that. But anyway, just wanted to point that out so you guys understand when you hear your news, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. So I don't know who's been paying attention to what's going on today with the Senate hearings, but the CEOs of Google and Facebook and Twitter were called subpoenaed like a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, to testify for violations of Section 230. So for those of you that don't know, Section 230 is part of the Communications Act, and it was enacted in 1996. So let's think about what was going on in 96.
I graduated.
Yeah, me too. We're the same age. So the internet was just starting. Like we were just getting like email. I think it was the first year I had an email account.
Y'all remember the dial-up, run-up, where it would make the noise, and it was still in black and green?
Yes, and it took forever to dial in to get on the internet. So the government wanted platforms to come out. They were encouraging, companies to serve as platforms on the internet and host things. So they added in this Section 230 of the Communications Act so that these media platforms on the internet would be not liable for third-party content that was published on their sites or their platforms. And so that they could kind of censor as they saw fit. So the only thing they'd get in trouble for would be like actual crimes, like if they hosted child pornography or something like that. So something obvious. But other than that, it basically gave them like this blanket immunity, which at the time made sense because there was a vested interest in growing the internet. It was still a baby at this point, okay? But now companies like Twitter and Facebook are using this immunity and they are not being neutral. So part of the law was that you had to be like a neutral platform. So think about a library, okay? The library is not going to get sued because there is libel in one of the books. Okay, same thing with the posting platforms and places like Twitter and that, but they have to be neutral. Like, they can't act like publishers. Once you act like a publisher, you are not granted immunity under this act. So that's what everything is. That's what's been going on today with the hearings, and it's been really interesting with the censoring. And I'm sure most of you know at this point that Twitter took down the New York Post's story about Hunter Biden's laptop, and
we all know why.
It was their own story. So the New York Post, which is the fourth biggest newspaper in the country, Alexander Hamilton founded it like 200 years ago. Okay, so it's not just some like Joe Blow posting about Hunter Biden's laptop. It's a legit source. They took that down because they said it was hacked material and it went against their guidelines. Okay. However, a few weeks ago, the New York Times posted, do you remember Trump's tax returns?
How interesting.
Which he did not release to them. So just so you guys know, I used to be a criminal attorney. All right, so I'm going to tell you that is a federal criminal felony. Okay, if you get a hold of somebody's tax returns and publish it without their permission, federal felony. But Twitter let them put that up.
But not the what?
But not the New York Post Hunter Biden story.
Quite convenient.
I wonder why. Like, this should bother people, I think, regardless of your political affiliation.
Completely bother. Other things that should also bother you guys is the child trafficking, where it's been all over certain media, but not like splashed like everything else has been splashed. As soon as Epstein's girlfriend got arrested, there were several instances on the media where they found children.
Yes.
And when finding the children in Georgia and in Ohio, there was like 39 in one trailer, 25 in another trailer.
Well, I think they were in different spots. But
yes.
It was like 39 kids like found within a week or two of each other. Like, what?
And you don't hear that.
No.
All like smashed over the whole entire...
That should be headline news, right? Like, all these missing children found at once.
More than once?
Yeah. They pick and choose. Like, they have an agenda. And it's censorship. I feel like it should bother people. Like, if the media was owned by Republicans and they were doing this to Democrats, wouldn't we both be equally as upset?
I completely, totally agree. But even with the child sex trafficking or child trafficking, however we want to word it, again, with the word media, I don't know if anyone called this in the very beginning what she said, most effective devil in America.
Yes.
Well, what is human trafficking?
Evil. I mean, it's disgusting.
And then, not only that, I think it was last week, Rosa?
It was
She actually sent me this video. I didn't even see this one. Children, the whole nine, teaching, being a teacher. Completely missed this one. And I thought when she sent it to me, when they said what they said, it was going to be a center for countering human trafficking during the actual live
press conference.
That no one, the entire time, it was crickets. I was just ready for all the questions and everybody was going to say 100 things. It was like...
The press conference, nobody, I think it was the Department of Homeland Security.
Nothing.
Established they just created it, and this is for the first time, a Center for Countering Human Trafficking. At the press conference? First of all, there was hardly anybody at the press conference.
No, there was like maybe 5 people?
Yeah, 5 or 6 reporters. And they opened the mic up for questions.
Nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. They said, okay, I guess we're going to continue to the next subject.
I was like, what?
What do you mean we're going to change? We didn't discuss this subject. How do we go to the next subject?
Why aren't the reporters talking about that?
Well, we know why. Because they're owned by the what?
Yeah, the 6 companies. And we all know, like, their affiliations and who they're donating money to. Yes. You telling me none of these were talking about the human trafficking stories or asking questions?
Not one. And I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all saw what we saw on Facebook the first time, that Epstein's I guess, considered ex-girlfriend, because she got arrested, is giving up all the information.
Oh, yeah.
That all of a sudden, this information is coming out, but we didn't hear it on any one of these.
Not really. Maybe Fox News might have covered it. I'm not even sure. I don't know. I hardly watch TV news because
But how is that possible? Not one is covering any of this over human, children, sex, trafficking. Nothing. What is going on, people?
They're protecting their own.
It's
They're
exactly what they're
protecting
doing.
their own. So the media, the way they choose to cover stuff or not to cover stuff, I mean, they're basically a fourth arm of the government.
I would completely and totally, I absolutely agree. Or in 2015 with Biden's laptop. I mean, like she mentioned earlier, where the laptop stories are probably just coming out. They're not even fully being done on the media.
They're being taken down on like
social media,
Facebook and Twitter.
But
and all
even
that.
the real news aren't covering the actual facts. You have to go and Google these certain things over Hunter Biden's laptop and what was found in his laptops.
Do the backstory of like how this all.
Okay,
Hunter
Hunter
Biden.
Biden.
2015 to now.
Okay, so let's say married, had children, his brothers passed away, so his widowed wife he decided to have an affair with, was not divorced with his current wife. And having the affair with his brother's widowed wife, he, I guess you would say, got another entanglement with a stripper.
Yep.
Got her pregnant and declared it was not his,
Yep.
nothing to have to do with his, and DNA test, it was his.
Yep.
Okay, we're on number three. Three.
3 women so far.
Then, let's go a little further ahead. He meets this woman and gets married in 6 days.
Yeah, 6 days. after
Four.
marriage.
We're on
6.
four. Four
So,
women.
well, before he got married, his brother's ex-wife, the widow, Beau Biden's widow, dumps him, and
Because of the niece, being the niece, she goes to her father-in-law. Do the math here now, people. Her father-in-law.
her father-in-law.
There would be Hunter Biden. The niece would be her uncle, saying she thinks there's something going on between Hunter Biden and the niece that was 14 years old. He said, no, there's something wrong. You must be in the head. My son would never do that. Why would the uncle to the niece? You have to go to therapy, go to counseling. There's just something, you're a woman, there's something wrong. My son would never do that. Laptops come out, people.
What was on the laptop? Pictures of his
Niece.
Sexual inappropriate pictures of his niece.
Come on, guys. Inappropriate pictures with a 14-year-old. Not related or related. I mean, that you get to the point of sick.
It's sick, and nobody's covering this, and they're trying to say. And here's what the media does, and this is a tactic they use all the time. If they don't like a story that, like, if it hurts their agenda, they discredit the source. So what have they been saying now to discredit it? It's coming from Russia. It's still the Cold War, you guys. Russia's like after us.
It's all over. But if this was Donald Trump Jr.'s laptop, let me tell you, this would be
Everywhere.
plastered all over.
Oh, we're all over all these
6.
crazy.
Every single one of them. It's the choosing of what will benefit and how it will help them succeed.
Yeah. And look, psychological warfare, like people look at me like I'm crazy when I use that term, but it has been these tactics on how you manipulate the society for your own public agenda. Like this has been going on since the 30s. You guys look up the Rockefeller Foundation. We'll go into more depth about like these wealthy families and their foundations in one of the next few episodes, but look up the Rockefeller Foundation. They have been paying for these psychological propaganda studies since the 30s.
We talked about this on another episode
For
where
radio.
they will go and pay universities to help with the commercials, and how do the commercials help brainwash us again, all over again, which stems back to the media.
Yep. So, you guys, this is an important week coming up. Just pay attention to what you hear and what you don't hear.
Let us know if you like this. Please subscribe. Tell us what you want to talk about next. Give us tons of comments and let us know what you think.
Yep.
Great to see you guys. And don't get
Bamboozled.
bamboozled.